What's going on, everybody? House of 240s here, and in today's video I'm going to be installing some ISR headers on my Nissan 240SX. Now before we get started, I do want to apologize for not posting any more videos. I have been really busy with school, work, and a lot of other things that have been coming up, but from now on I'm going to be posting more consistently and trying to get more content out there, since I'm going to be upgrading my S14 Koki that I have behind me, and from there I'll see where the YouTube channel goes. So right here we have these ISR headers that a buddy of mine sold me. They were on his S13 hatch. They do work also on the S14s, just as long as it's a dual cam and rather than a single cam. He also threw in this RSR exhaust right here that I'm going to be giving away to my brother. Since he has an S13, he can make use of it. I believe I can use it on the S14, but I'm going to have to make some adjustments to the hangers, which I don't feel like doing right now. I have my MB Battles right here, stock IS300 wheel that I got with the purchase of the MB Battles, and I'll probably be doing a review of this thing in my next video, just because I know the YouTube channel hasn't seen this build. For this installation video, it's actually quite simple. Shouldn't take longer than an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. In order to install these headers, you're going to want to remove these exhaust manifold bolts right here. You should have a total of 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. And also you're gonna want to remove this pipe right here, EGR pipe. Before you do so, you are gonna want to lubricate that with some PB Blaster. It's some sort of lubricant that's supposed to break down the bonds between rusted material. And after that, since I am gonna be taking away the front cat, I'm gonna be taking away the downpipe with the exhaust manifold, so everything is gonna come as one piece. But I'm gonna go ahead and remove the O2 sensor that's right here, just because it's going to be hitting the steering column and I don't want to run into any issues. From the bottom, you can't really see very well, but you have this down pipe and it goes to the cat right there, and it's just two 14mm bolts, and you just go ahead and remove those. And I also went ahead and lubricated the bolts all the way on the bottom. After you do that, everything should come off, and then you can go ahead and resurface the exhaust manifold on this side and go ahead and put the gaskets and then mount the headers. Now a quick note, these ISR headers do not have the hole for the EGR pipe that goes right here. Some of the headers, such as DC Sports, actually do have the EGR pipe. That way you could still pass emissions, but these unfortunately do not. So you can go ahead and cap off that EGR pipe however you like. What I'm going to be doing is actually getting the EGR delete and this little block off plate that goes over the EGR valve, and that's what I'm going to do to mount these. So I'm going to be doing a quick little time lapse and then overviewing what I'm doing to the car while I'm in the process of removing the manifold and installing the other manifold. So a couple minutes later, in removing the O2 sensor, I realized that the O2 sensor plug was actually melted together. I can probably try separating this by getting some sort of knife or grinder and then just cutting this in half and then splitting it. But I'm just gonna leave it like this. I have the O2 sensor out. The bolts are loose. Now all I just need to do is loosen the two bolts that are on the catalytic converter flange. Not these three right here, just the ones that are in the very back. These are the two 14mm nuts that I was referring to. There's one right here, one on the opposite side. For some reason, there's some sort of RTV silicone right here. This is going to be the bolts that I'm going to be removing in order to install the headers. Headers bolt up right here, and they go all the way to the front, removing the front catalytic converter and leaving you with this one. Once you have broken this loose, then you can go ahead and remove the 8 bolts on the exhaust manifold, and after that this thing should come all by itself, and you can move it forward, take it off these bolts, and then move it backwards and remove it from the bottom. All right, so the stupid pipe didn't want to come out. Gonna have to pull out this bad boy, chop up that pipe right there, and then just fold it, make sure no air escapes through there. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. So I got the pipe cut off right at the flange right there, and all I need to do is disconnect this dipstick right here, and after that everything comes off as one piece and you should be good. So I actually attempted to take it off as one set, but unfortunately I wasn't able to because this manifold kept hitting the steering column So you're gonna wanna go ahead and try to put some PB Blaster on these bolts right here. That way they don't strip or break on you, and then separate them, and then you can go ahead and remove it. I'll show you guys how things are looking. I'm about 45 minutes in, so it's not too bad. Unfortunately, one stud did come out as a whole, which is a lot better than it breaking inside of the head. So I would rather have it come out all the way rather than just staying inside. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with a light sanding right here, clean it up a little bit, put on a new manifold gasket, and put in the headers. All right, so I got the EGR pipe smushed together, that way no air escapes through there, and I went ahead and sanded it down just so it seals a little bit better. And I'm gonna go ahead and sand the surface of the exhaust manifold, and after that I just mount the O2 sensor that's, you know, kind of welded there, and everything should be good. Okay, so I finally sanded down the flanges on both the catalytic converter and the headers. I also went ahead and put in the gasket that goes in between them. All I need to do is put on the 14mm nuts, put on the O2 sensor, and we should be good to go. All right, so we just finished up everything, and O2 sensor is plugged in. I did manage to disconnect it, and I was able to unplug it, but I am gonna be fixing this later down the road, just not right now. I put the manifold gasket on, I bolted everything down, everything seems tight. As far as the bottom goes, I did bolt on the catalytic converter. I put a brand new gasket in there, made sure to sand down the silicone that was on there beforehand. For the O2 sensor that was on the downstream catalytic converter, there is a plug. ISR does provide that with headers, and everything is on, so I can go ahead and lower it and give you guys a sound check.
Good morning, everybody. So a day has passed since I installed the headers on this car, and actually it sounds a lot better than it did before. Unfortunately, I didn't clip a sound clip before the header installation, which I do highly regret. So I'm going to be looking for some videos of me revving it or doing some donuts so that I can include. Sorry, I look like I just woke up, but I actually did. And I'm just going to be showing you guys how things are sounding.
So overall, this installation was not hard at all. It should take about maybe an hour and a half at most. The only thing that may happen is, you know, you run into problems such as your studs breaking in the head, things stripping, things not coming off due to being really old and really rusted. There's always little unexpected things that do end up making the installation process a little bit more tedious and more time consuming. But this is overall how it looks. I'm going to be tidying up the engine bay a little bit, cleaning it up, polishing the ready stabilization bar, and also I'm going to be sanding down the valve cover and painting it. I think I might go with blue just to set off the intake and the strut bar. I'm going to be removing EGR solenoids such as that vacuum. I believe that's for the EGR. All these spiderweb vacuums, going to be removing those, covering up the EGR pipe in the back, putting the block off plate. I believe ISR sells the kit. Overall, this thing sounds really nice. I'm gonna be taking you guys for a spin, get some in-car exhaust clips, and yeah, that should be it for this video. overall, the installation process wasn't difficult at all, and I do recommend it to any of you guys out there barely starting to work on 240s. It just makes the car sound a lot better, and it just feels like a completely different car. But that concludes it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy watching it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends.